When I was really little, my mom talked about it all the time. When I was in my early adulthood, I worried about it all the time. When I was in my middle adulthood, I dealt with it without it controlling me the best that I could. Now that I got it, dealt with it, and have put it behind me, I'm so happy because I didn't anticipate my outcome being this good. Your mom and my mom did more history checking and the background and all of that, but they love the history of Poland. They love Poland. Oh, we're tough. We're tough. We came from tough Polish women who picked potatoes and grew radishes. The surgeon that I dealt with, she had read Grandma's history, and she looked at it and said, "Huh, you're Polish. Uh, that's weird because Polish Jewish people specifically, have a higher rate of cancer." I was unaware of it. Um, your mom brought it up to me about that whole connection to cancer, and that is a common place for where a lot of women have had cancer. I asked, how do you get cancer? Can I get cancer? And my mom said, it's not contagious, and it's inside your body. However, that whole viewpoint was totally denied when I met with the geneticist last summer. The Ashkenazi Polish Jews from Poland. Well, I was tested in the summer, and I had 9 of the most common genes that would detect cancer. I tested negative for all 9 of them. Our family doesn't have any predispositions according to those tests, but when I was going through my process of the surgeon said you definitely have some genetic defect predisposing you to cancer. We just don't know what it is yet. Someday we'll know, but it's obvious that you have something. There are like 87 genes, but when you test for those top 9, there's no point in going further. When I went through it that weekend, the whole thing, my doctor, she said, it's interesting that my aunt passed away from cancer, and my mom had cancer, and your mom, my sister, almost had cancer. But the probability of you or Rachel or Margaret getting it is, it's just not strong at all. There's no doubt in my mind that if you don't do something, you will experience breast cancer at some point in your life. We're just prone to cancer, and maybe they just haven't found the gene yet. Maybe they'll find it and take it out, and then there would be no more breast cancer, and that would be wonderful. But your mom, my sister, we have totally different personalities. Totally different personalities. You know how we're completely different. When she told me she was going to do that, I mean, she had the scare and the callbacks and the, oh, we found something, come back in for the ultrasound. Oh, we saw something, come back in for the thing, we need a biopsy. When Julie was diagnosed, it was harder for me to hear because she's had some abnormal mammograms before. But she always got other doctors to tell her that she didn't need to be concerned. And That happened when I was 40. It was on my first mammogram, and I had a second opinion, and it was just milk guts. But it was the most painful experience of my life. It was horrible. So I didn't understand why she didn't take the preventative measures that she did. But Sharon did that many times. So I get it now. But I didn't get it back then. By the time I was in my 30s, I was driving myself insane. I gave up. I was going to go in for checkups and be cautious about it. And I would find lumps and bumps, and it was horrible. I was worried about it all the time. Not in a million years did I think I was going to be the one in that chair. Not in a million years. I mean, she was 75 when it happened, and I'm 47. I also just knew in my head that I was going to get it. I had that feeling since I was 20. I just knew in my own head that there was a link. And I mean, it's very unusual. And to me, it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when. But your mother's quite the trooper. She told me afterwards, I didn't get the gory details, but she told me some. But I'm not as strong as your mother is. She is something else. But the two, my mother and my grandmother, I wasn't there to watch my mother take care of my grandmother, but it must have been a beautiful sight. The mother and the daughter, all that they had been through, terms of just being so afraid of being found out that you were not legitimate, being found out of being Polish. That was my mother's nervousness. My diagnosis came 6 months after my mother's. It seemed closer than that to me, but I believe it was 6 months. When she got the diagnosis, it was sad, but it was treatable. And since my mom went through it, there are so many things I am able to benefit from. When she got it, I thought, oh man, because Grandma was the missing link. Before that, there was just a twinge of doubt in my mind of it being a genetic thing, because somehow my mom had escaped it. But when she got it, there was no doubt in my mind that we were all gonna get it at some point. Seeing her go through it, I have a frame of reference at least. And because Grandma had it, it's actually really good that Grandma got her cancer at the, when she did, because if she didn't have cancer, I don't know if the insurance would have covered my procedure. So it's a financial thing too. There's a lot of comfort in it, sadly enough. Same hospital, same waiting rooms. I was waiting for her though. I was waiting for her, not my name to be called. And I'm so happy that this option is now known, because my girls won't have to go through what I went through. And by the time you're in your 30s and 40s, they're going to know even more.